Hi, this is Charles Dobbins, and welcome to this week's vlog. And in this week's vlog, what we're going to be talking about, or actually be listening to my wife, who taught one of our Monday night classes for the Owner Forum. And in this particular clip from that presentation, we're talking about micro markets. We're talking about mistakes that you can make in micro markets. And then Kate shares with us some sources that we use in order to get better information, better data about the markets that we're working in. So nice 10-minute long vlog. She spoke for probably about an hour. It was a great presentation, if I don't say so myself. But enjoy it and let me know what your thoughts are. Talk to you soon.
Okay, so micro markets. This is location, location, location. This is where it all, this is where the rubber hits the road. Okay, so neighborhood considerations. Now, this is a lesson that Charlie and I learned, is that not all neighborhoods are created equal. Know your area relative to the market. Okay, so this is an obvious opportunity. We say with a big O. Here's a big opportunity. So I grew up in Michigan, about 20 miles north of Detroit. So to me, this is what a D property looks like, or a blighted property in an urban area. This, in fact, is an abandoned property that was in Detroit, a multifamily. So this is my point of reference, and I think it's pretty obvious. Anybody that looks at this is like, no way, this is obviously, it's not even habitable. Pretty obvious. But check this out. Know your renter. Know who your renter is. This property that I just showed you, this little single family house, is on a cute little street, brand new construction, and there is a multifamily property right behind it. And you actually have to drive through the multifamily property footprint in order to get into this little cul-de-sac. This brand new property, which has stainless steel appliances and granite countertops, is Section 8, believe it or not. And you would think it is the cutest little American property. This is a property that Charlie and I owned that is a Section 8 property that's right next to this little house. And you look at it and you think, what a pretty property. It's clean, it's in excellent condition, it's got nice awnings, it's got nice landscaping. Visually, it looks great. This is another part of that property, obviously a little more dated, but pitched roofs, good condition, etc. These properties, with the downturn in the economy, became C- properties. They were not obviously as bad as this destroyed property, but we had serial arsonists show up on this property. We had gangs show up on this property. The buildings were gang tagged. And it had a lot to do that on this street here, we had drug dealers living here. So visually, you think, oh, I'm moving into the cutest little neighborhood and the buildings look great on the outside. What we didn't know, because we were not from Lexington, Kentucky, is that we bought, the properties look good, but because we weren't from there, we didn't know that we bought on the tough side of town. And when the market went south and the property became overrun, it was a very, very difficult situation to handle. So make sure that, because your frame of reference might be one thing relative to your home market, it may be very different in another market. So be careful. So know your demographics, know the psychographics from a local standpoint, not just from through your own lens. Okay, make sure you understand household income, whether they're subsidized incomes, what is the level of education, what's the level of employment, and looking at crime rates. I didn't even put that on here. But very, very important considerations. Okay, so how do you figure all of this stuff out? I'm telling you, you should know all these facts. How do you find out all of this stuff and do it efficiently? So there are a lot of free resources available that you can learn a lot within just a few minutes. So one of the things you do is you hit Google. So you do your macro data search. My favorite first place to go is this site called City Data. And it's citydata.com. And it's a great site. I use it for all kinds of research. And in there, it's a very, very long website. Every city, I believe, in the country now has a city city data page. It's going to give you population growth. It's going to give you demographics. It's going to give you household income. It's going to give you construction starts, level of education, average number of people in the household. I mean, it's just an absolute treasure of information, and it's super easy to use. It'll give you, it actually has a map embedded in it, so you can look and see different areas of a city. Like I said, it's, gosh, it shows you how many people own versus rent, what the average household value is, what the average condo value is. It's just a wealth of data. So, and it's very simple to use. I'm giving you the brand just so you can see it, but I never go in through the main page. I just go into Google and I would type like Denver city data, and then it shows up. It'll take you to, this would be the URL. And if you're in your hometown, you can do whatever, Boston city data, and it's the same templated data for every city. Super, super helpful. So great starting point. Okay, but specific on the multifamily research. So that's really kind of your general demographic and population information. But on multifamily research, if you're not using these resources, you're crazy. These are all free, and you all are here because you respect getting educated in this field. And one of the most important things that you can be and should be is you need to be an expert in this industry. Not only for your own sake, it's the best way to manage your risk is to be super knowledgeable, but when you're talking to brokers, when you're talking to bankers, and when you're talking to investors, you need to know what you're talking about. And having good research at your fingertips helps you sound really smart, because you will be very smart. So my favorite resource, my go-to, is Marcus and Millichap. These brokers are these huge commercial brokers. They're national and international, and they get paid when deals get done. So their job, they've got armies of people that are doing research on markets all over the country. Some of them are international. That's not really germane to us. But their job is to help educate you and the sellers and the brokers and help deals get done. So they, like I said, they employ armies of people that are experts in market analysis. So why aren't we using the information, to help us? So Marcus and Millichap, they do an annual multifamily report. It comes out in January. I downloaded the one for 2018 just the other day. It is, I think it's 70 pages long, and they cover a macro outlook on essentially the state of the industry and what their forecast is. And then they do market analysis. I think they're looking at almost 50 markets. I counted it up. I think it was 46 or 47 markets across the United States that they will do an annual report on. And then each one of those markets, Marcus and Millichap will put out a quarterly report on. Most of them, they do a quarterly report. So if you're looking in Denver, for example, you should read the annual report, and then you should be downloading and getting that quarterly report. I've been reading these reports for years, and they are phenomenal. They do not oversell. I have found them to be excellent sources of information. What's interesting too, when I read the Wall Street Journal regularly, and when Marcus and Millichap puts out its annual multifamily report, the Wall Street Journal quotes these analysts when these reports come out. So the Wall Street Journal is turning to these reports to report on the state of the industry. So you guys are reporting on the state of the industry the same way the Journal is. So just, you really want to sound like you're totally geeked out on multifamily, that's a way to do it. So I have the 2018 report. I can give it to Charlie and he can get it out, or he and Deb can get it out if you guys want it. It's free. You have to go in and set yourself up as a user on the Marcus and Millichap website and get into their research. It can be a little tricky to get there, but it's been a phenomenal resource. So CBRE, another international broker, same thing. They do multifamily market research. I have the 2019 report. They just put it out. It's nowhere near as comprehensive as Marcus and Millichap's. I think it's like maybe 5 pages. But again, it's another perspective. You should be reading this. If you're spending this much time, particularly if you're investing other people's money, do your homework. and that's who CBRE is. JLL is another commercial real estate company. And you'll find JLL is more market focused. They're in their own markets. I think they're like in Seattle. I think they're in Phoenix. They have a really good and very intelligent multifamily blog that talks about what deals are being done, what's happening with interest rate and the effect on access to capital. Again, these are some of the things that if you want to turn into the expert, and these are some really good resources. And then Colliers. Colliers International, interestingly, the last multifamily report that I could find was for 2016. And I was thinking, I don't think I should let them know this, but I read it. And the thing about multifamily, this is not a fad business. This is a long, they have a very long arch, these businesses. And so listening to the experts, like I read that report in 2016, and it was talking about forecasting and what the important trends are. And it's great to get a perspective, even if it's, a report that's 2 years old. Getting that information is really helpful because multifamily doesn't change overnight. It works off of these long cycles. Okay, so whatever market reports I pulled, I'll get them to Charlie or to Deb, and they can send them out. But make sure that you guys go in and become users of all of these sites.